currently at Books in Bloom, which is hosted in Marietta District with my mom. There's a lot of activities to do here. There will be authors speaking, there are books being sold, and then also free books for teachers or anyone of interest who wants to read. I'm really excited because there's also a lot of writing activities here too, so there's like a little bit of something for everybody, no matter what age group you're in. So if you haven't checked it out yet, consider coming to Books in Bloom next year if you get a chance. And yeah, and I'll show you my day.
The Board of Directors of the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society. Yes. Woo! Coco Calypso with funding from Maryland Humanities is a sponsor of Books in Bloom. Before we begin this program, I would like to introduce County Executive Calvin Ball. He plays many roles in leading our community, but is well known for his support of the arts, visual arts, performing arts, and literary arts. It was Dr. Ball who led the efforts to create the position of Howard County Poet Laureate, who is part of this program today, and the position of Howard County Youth Poet Laureate, who will be talking with the Students Out Loud participants here in the Literary Lane next. We are honored to have you here, Dr. Ball. Would you like to say a few words?
Happy Saturday, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I am just so excited to see so many people who are celebrating the arts, who recognize the importance of words and recognize the importance of empowerment. Now more than ever, when so many are attacking things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, having amazing artists have my back both figuratively and literally, thank you. And seeing so many people here in Howard County send a message to the rest of the state, the nation, and the world. One of inclusion, one that recognizes the power of words, how words can reignite the flames of hope, how words can help us become our very best selves. I want to thank everyone who helped make today successful. I see Jean in the audience. Of course, our Howard County Arts Council, so many others, and I also want to just thank our poets who are here. You are in for an amazing treat. People who will captivate the imagination, who will make it so that you can go anywhere that you'd like to be. And so, as your county executive, as your neighbor, as a world citizen, welcome and God bless you.
Here we are. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Dr. Ball. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ari Thomas, and I have the privilege and the pleasure and the honor of moderating this panel, Poetry Plus. This is the Honey, a showcase of Black poets. We're in for a really amazing time this afternoon. We're going to have a conversation with the four poets that I'll introduce to you in a second, and then we'll also hear from their work. I invite you, this is an invitation to conversation, to thought, to debate, and to dream. I think of this panel, the next 45 minutes, as a sort of living anthology. The name of this panel comes from This Is the Honey, an anthology of Black contemporary poets. We're going to talk about the concept of anthologizing, about curation, and about trying to capture something that is timeless and also timely about Black experiences. On stage with me today, I have Kwame Alexander, who is the author of more than 40 books. He's also the editor of the collection from which this panel takes its name. This is the Honey, an anthology of Black contemporary poets. With the Howard County Poet Laureate, Thomas, co-editor of Where We Stand, Poems of Black Resilience. We have E.Ethelbert Miller, poet, teacher, activist, and editor. He's also the editor of the acclaimed anthology In Search of Color Everywhere. And we have the Maryland Poet Laureate and Executive Director of Pennsylvania Avenue Arts and Entertainment District, Black Arts and Entertainment District, Lady Brion. I'm so excited to hear from them. I'm so excited to stop talking because I get to listen to them. So I'm going to start by asking Kwame a question. So in the introduction to This Is the Honey, you quote Langston Hughes, who wrote, "Birthing is hard, dying is mean, so get yourself a little loving in between." Can you talk, and then you say that the anthology that you edited is the in-between. Can you explain how you define or think of the in-between?
Well, I think today I find myself in an in-between. Just yesterday we found out that our dear beloved sister, Dr. Carla Hayden, had been fired from the Library of Congress in a 2-sentence email. There is an attack on books, on literature, on literacy, on history, and I believe that that has something to do with an attack on hope. Because ultimately, I believe that hope is indeed a strategy. And if hope is a strategy, then resilience is a skill set. And these are things that we can teach our young people. And so, just yesterday, Ethelbert, I was asking a couple of writer friends of mine and asking myself, is writing enough? What are we doing? Is what we're doing enough? Do we need to be doing something more? How can we resist? How can we find that hope in the midst of all of this uncertainty, confusion, chaos? And I don't know what the answer is. And so that's the in-between for me. And so this anthology, I guess I'm sort of answering my own question. This anthology was a way for me to inspire, for me to empower, which is something our community has always done through language and literature. Am I right, Ethelbert? I mean,
it's on now.
Yeah.
Well, I think in terms of what we should be doing as writers, especially as writers, we have to change the narrative. Okay. We also have to make sure that we introduce new vocabulary, new words into the narrative. That's the only way we can reclaim what's going on. The right wing has always been defining things or redefining things. For example, the word liberal has a different meaning now because of that. Woke has a different meaning. And so what happened, we have to ask ourselves, what new words can we introduce into this narrative that creates a new America? Because what you can see with this development, there's going to be a lot of rebuilding that's got to take place in the future. And that's where it's like the new reconstruction.
I want to ask, so Lady Brion, you work in both in like the Black Arts District and also as a spoken word artist, and I'm curious about the creation. Jeff was pointing about creating new words. A lot of the what we're facing right now is erasure, and I'm curious about the act of anthologizing, the act of organizing. What are some strategies that you're seeing in your work for fighting against erasure of ourselves and our work?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think it is generally the work of artists, is what we do innately, right? Is we persist and we resist against erasure simply by showing up and creating works and authentically being who we are, like we are standing against that erasure and creating spaces and platforms for others to do the same is what my work looks like at the Black Arts District and in Baltimore City. But ultimately, as Poet Laureate for the state of Maryland, right, it's not missed on me, the uniqueness of me being a young Black woman in this seat, in this time, in this moment, understanding that outside of Lucille Clifton, you know what I mean? There have been no other Black women that have held this seat, being young and radical and a spoken word artist. So I feel like it's also incumbent upon me everywhere I go to show up in a particular kind of way and not reserve my words or my topic or what have you to assimilate to a space that will make people feel comfortable because this is an uncomfortable time. You know what I mean? So I think it really is and has always been the work of artists to continue to show up, tell the stories, recall the memories, so that there is not a way to erase us because we're still here and we're still telling the stories, and we hold the stories of our grandmothers and we hold the stories of future times as well, all within ourselves. And as long as we create and as long as we show up authentically as ourselves, then the erasure becomes impossible.
They go there. Yes.
Oh my goodness, love that. Truth, you're the Howard County Poet Laureate, and I'm curious in your experience of like holding the space in this county, like with this population. What is your experience? And you also edited an anthology, so I'm sort of curious about your experience navigating both sort of laying new groundwork while also like pulling the past and the present along with you, like holding both all that's come before you, but also like laying new groundwork as the poet laureate.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming out. Clap your hands for yourselves. I am a part of a continuum. Brother E.Ethelbert Miller is one of my mentors. When I first started writing, when I was more focused on music, I used to bring my songs up to the top of Founders Library. Can we get an amen for Founders Library?
Amen.
Amen.
It's you?
You know!
Thank you very much. And he was very gracious, because not all of those poems were good. And he would do something like he would read the things and he would say, and then I had 50 lyrics, right? And he'd say, that's a good line. Read this. This is a good word. Read this book. Somebody had to create those books. We're on the shoulders of those who came before. A beloved sister, Nikki Giovanni, who I was not fortunate enough to study under like some people, but who was on the wall of my house since I was 10 years old. And Search of Color Everywhere is a powerful book. And I remember when he was editing it, talking about the people who were going to be in the book and some people who didn't make it in. I'm a part of all of that. So those books serve as a kind of Black Lives Matter plaza that cannot be paved over. We are still here. That's what these anthologies serve to bear witness to. We are still here like our ancestors. We are still fighting back like our ancestors. And we are not afraid of racism and speaking out against it. So to answer your question, I continue in that fight. And there are two chapters in my, as I was telling Brother Ethelbert, my journey so far as poet laureate. There was the chapter, excuse me, before the election, and there's the fight back chapter afterwards. And that's where we are now.
In the introduction to In Search of Color Everywhere, Ethelbert,